Hello everyone, welcome to the Playwrights Corner. I'm Peter Anthony Fields. Today I want to talk about writing scenes that you think are permanent and then later you end up deleting them and replacing them with another scene. Now, sometimes when you write, you think that you have a great idea for a scene and how the scene is going to play. You think this is exactly the way it's going to go. And then some days or weeks later even, you realize that that wasn't the best way to cover those moments in the script, and you want to rewrite it. You have a better idea, and that's what happened to me. I wrote scenes that I knew were exactly what I wanted, and they delivered the information that I knew they need to deliver, and so I was very satisfied with them, and I thought that they were going to be permanent. But a few weeks later, to my surprise, I had a totally different approach to this scene and how that information should be delivered. And so I rewrote it, and it was indeed a better scene for making the changes. Don't think that it's a tragic loss that you are getting rid of the scene and rewriting it, a scene that you probably really love and that has some great lines and great moments in them. You don't want to give any of that up. But don't worry, because the rewrite will be better because you've spent days or weeks of knowing the character further, and you implement those aspects that you have learned about the character and into the new version of the scene, and it makes a better scene. So there were actually a number of scenes that I did this with, quite a few actually, that scenes that delivered the information that I wanted, and it delivered the information in a way that I thought I wanted, and I loved some of the lines that were in there, but I had to get rid of all of it and rewrite it to make a different scene that gave the same information, but it did it better than what I did the first time. So don't think it's a tragic loss if you ever have to rewrite a scene. Don't be afraid to rewrite it. Do what you have to do to make the story better. And I guarantee you'll be much happier with the results. The final point that I want to make is about honesty. Be honest, most importantly to yourself first. If you write a scene or a sequence that isn't right, that just is really quite bad, or even a little bit bad, don't be afraid to admit it to yourself that this scene, this moment, this sequence is bad. It's not the way I want it. You have to admit that to yourself in order to make it right, because if you continue to delude yourself that it's exactly what you wanted, even though it's not, or that you can't make it better, which you can, then you're going to end up with a inferior product that you're presenting to an audience or a readership. Now, if you have a particular scene that you know is bad and it's just not working, you don't have to get rid of it right away. Don't ball it up and throw it away in frustration and say, I got to start again and have to do it right away, you have to do it now. You don't. Let the scene stay in its place. Let it stay for some days, some weeks even. You will find the better scene to write. Eventually it will come to you. And when it does, it's like magic. You will write something that's far better than what you originally wrote, and it's because you were honest with yourself first and foremost, that the scene wasn't working and that you have to change it. Don't be afraid of change. Also, in keeping the scene in place for a while, you may discover that there's one little nugget of a gem in that scene that will dictate how the rewrite will proceed. And it's that one little element that makes all the difference in the world. So keep the scene there in place for a number of reasons. To let it settle, let yourself think about it for a while, and then for those elements in that scene that will be pulled out and inserted into the new version of the scene once you get on the right path of writing the individual scene or sequence. And finally, a word about my last video blog when I said that there should be 20 or so key moments that the hero has to overcome, the challenges that the hero has to overcome. Those are not solid rules. There's flexibility in there. The important thing is, don't let your story sag or slow up. Give your protagonist enough challenges to keep the story rolling. Okay? All right. Well, thank you for joining me on this Playwrights Corner. I'm Peter Anthony Fields, and keep writing, never give up, and remember, don't throw away those bad scenes. Keep them there for a while, as long as you need them to, till you find your right direction. Okay. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the flip side.